All right, let's get this started. I just got home a little while ago. I'm very tired. It's going to be a long night tonight. Got some stuff I got to do. But before I do it, I wanted to have a quick little hangout, I guess, so to speak, and kind of reflect upon the hearing that I attended this morning through via Zoom call. Well, actually, technically, I was on a telephone call, not the Zoom call, but it's all about the same. Apparently, there was probably about 20 people had joined the call when I was on it. So I assume there's probably a lot of people that are going to pretty much give their view of what they think transpired on the Katie Joy Paulson Without a Crystal Ball Todd Chrisley's hearing today, which was on two things. One, a motion to compel, and dismissals, if they want to dismiss the countersuits and things of that nature. So this is my thoughts on it. First, the motion to compel was predicated upon the fact that Katie Joy Paulson had not yet turned over certain things that the Todd Chrisley's legal team wanted. Very specifically, they wanted an answer to interrogatory number 3, and that specifically was the name of the source that she had talked to that had said that they agreed with her, and that it was confirmed that supposedly that Todd Chrisley had been blackmailing Lindsay Chrisley and saying that he had a tape, a videotape of a sexual nature of Lindsay Chrisley, that if she did not basically do what they wanted in his criminal trial, he would release it. Supposedly his son Chris had bought it for $5,000. We all know now this is all BS. At no time did anybody ever give any evidence for any of that, so the whole story seemed pretty concocted from the first place. But their legal team wanted the name of this source, and they had every right to it because it was part of their legal suit. Their suit was a defamational claim that Katie had said that Todd had been blackmailing his daughter. Now, that is defamation if that is not the case. And so they are suing her, and that's one of the things they are suing for, is a defamation per se, that she had basically maliciously made up a story in order to attack Todd Chrisley and his family. So in part of the discovery, which in this case, the discovery is relevant, and again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not giving any legal advice, this is just basic lay commentary. But the discovery was part of the evidence that can show that Katie maliciously made up the story about having a source. Because if she could provide a source, then it would show that wasn't malice. She would show that she actually did talk to somebody. So come to find out, she had told the legal team that she had merely just gotten information from other sources, so things that she had said before. She had also stated that prior to today. But she also told the legal team in the discovery, in the inquiries, in interrogatories, that she didn't have the name of the person that she had talked to, and that she didn't have any contact information for the person she talked to. Now, this is pretty interesting. This is pretty interesting that she didn't have the information of the person that she supposedly talked to. Why? Because twofold. One, if she did in fact have a source, and in fact she did not get the person's name, nor any contact information, this shows she clearly did not vet this source, which means she was reckless, which means she was malicious, which means that it proves malice, which means Todd Chrisley will win his case on that count, in my opinion. If she lied and did not have a source to begin with, she still could not produce a name, nor any contact information, which would show malice, which would show, recklessness, which would show malice, which would, again, Todd Chrisley would win his case. The fact that she could not produce a name, the fact she could not produce a number, contact information, for a supposed source that was on Todd Chrisley's production team that had somehow verified all this information and agreed with her, this basically destroys any hope Katie Joy has of winning against Todd Chrisley in any capacity. Obviously, she has a countersuit, which one of the things in the countersuit, which we'll get into here in a minute, was harassment. We'll talk about what happened with that. But I think it's very telling that they went to a breakout room, the lawyers, and in that breakout room, who knows what they were saying, obviously, because it was not publicized. But basically, the lawyer on Katie Joy Paulson's side said that they had already sent over all this stuff, the interrogatories and discovery, and Todd Chrisley's lawyer basically said, really? This is news to me. I think that was almost his exact words. Those in the lawsuit hangout today, the hearing hangout, could tell me if that was his exact words, but I think it was something along the lines of, oh, that is news to me. So the judge said, oh, really? This is news to you. then you may want to go talk with each other and find out what the heck's going on. So they came back. The lawyer basically said that yes, they did submit, begrudgingly was his word, the answer to the interrogatory, and the answer was, from my understanding, from talking to people very close, very, very close to the lawsuit, that it was, oh yeah, we don't have a name and we don't have a contact number. Okay, well, again, this means that she cannot show that she actually had a source, that she is liable basically for defamation because she had basically recklessly put out information about Todd Chrisley that she cannot substantiate. I mean, it would be one thing perhaps to try to find a justification and a defense to say, look, I'm only repeating what my source told me. My source works for the production team. I have vetted who they are. I verified they do in fact work for the production team. I have their name and their contact information, and I'm just repeating what they're saying. That's one thing. But that is not what has happened. She doesn't have that information. She has no contact name and no contact phone number for the person she supposedly spoke with. Now, my personal view, there's no such person. This is my personal view, and I'm happy to be shown wrong about it. If they can prove in a court of law that she did have a source but just didn't have a name and a telephone number for them or any kind of contact information, okay, guess what? I'll change my position and say, okay, she had a source. But as of right now, I am operating under the condition, under the belief that she absolutely lied and did not have a source. I know, crazy, right? But it really doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter whether she lied about having a source or not to the legal standing, because merely not having the ability to give them the name that they requested on the interrogatory or contact information of the source on the interrogatory is damning enough, because that shows that she was reckless in repeating something that she supposedly heard, which would have been hearsay, without proper vetting it. That is malice. So, yeah, I think she's screwed 6 ways to Sunday on that. I really honestly do, because I don't know how she can get out of that. The only way she could ever get out of a defamational claim like that, to say that she had a source, that the source had vetted all this information, and that she had vetted the source, is to, well, provide the name of the source. I mean, she could at least try to say, oh, look, I'm a journalist and I'm protecting my source under some kind of journalistic shield. We all know that's BS. First, she's not a journalist. Second, there's no such shield. Hey, Rotless Tenders. Hey, how are you doing? Endless Litigation. Yeah, hope you're okay. You know, no kidding, right? Thank you, Rotfest. GGB says, you're having some audio issues where it's static or fuzzy when you talk. The noise isn't there when you aren't speaking. Yeah, that's my AC. I'm sorry. It's very hot still. It'll shut off here in a few. So I apologize for the background noise. I can put a noise suppression on. That'll cut it back a little bit. But I'm not turning the AC off because I'm hot. It is really, really hot today. So I'm going to turn the noise suppression on. So that should help while that's on. Okay, so yeah, when that turns off, it'll go away, GGB. Sorry. It's late. It's like 11 o'clock. Nobody's going to listen to this anyways, right? This is just me rambling for about 20 minutes before I go try to find something to eat and pass out. It's been a very, very long day today. So anyway, so back to the source. Yeah, I believe that she does not have a source, and I'm happy to correct that. But as of right now, the fact that she was unable to give a source to Todd Chrisley's legal team, nor give any contact information, is pretty damning. Is pretty damning. Okay, so the other things. Oh, okay. So it was really hot today. Hey Alexa, what's the temperature today?
Right now, it's 93 degrees Fahrenheit. Tonight, expect a low of 81 degrees.
Alexa, what's the high today?
Today, expect a high of 97 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool. It's been around 106 here, but it's about 90 something right now. But it got up to about 112 last week, I believe it was. And I don't know if you guys have ever been in 112 degree weather. It's hot. I mean, it's hot, and it's humid too. It's 30% humidity. You get all that sticky, nasty, grossy stuff on you. You feel like your clothes are sticking to you. So when you walk, you hear this kind of like Velcro and stuff. Yeah, I hate it. As you know, I got to shower like multiple times a day in the summertime. You know, when I go to work, I have to like I'll clean, but and then I get to work and I'm already sticky. It sucks, man. It sucks. All right, but you guys want to hear about my hygienic problems, you know? Hey, but you know what? At least I've got better hygiene than, you know, without a crystal ball. I saw her thumb the other day on Twitter. Like, I swear to God, I damn near died. I was like, this isn't her thumb. Yeah, come on, she wouldn't put this out. And Llama Girl and a bunch of other people go, no, seriously, that's her thumb. And I'm like, holy crap, what is this fungal infection here? I mean, I understand like a hangnail. I've had hangnails, and yeah, sure, they can get pretty gnarly. I get it, right? But usually you clip them. You don't pull off a hangnail. You clip it, and then it'll eventually go away and heal on its own. Because if you rip it off, it can get infected. And I don't know if you've ever had an infected hangnail, but they suck. And I haven't had it in a very, 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 very long time. Why? Because I learned you don't peel them off. You don't chew them off. You don't pull them off. You cut them, and they will heal on their own. And the cuticles. Oh my God, I'm a 52-year-old man, and my cuticles are amazing compared to hers. Absolutely amazing. I mean, look, Cano, look at them. Look at these. Cano. Look at my cuticles. Are they not? I got man. I mean, come on. Those are compared to.
Nice.
Thank you. She said nice. Yes, I manscape. I can't manscape my cuticles. I do. I push them back, but yeah. So it's just like, yeah. I was like, holy God, that woman has some funk, man. But anyways, back to the story here. So the motion to compel, the lawyer on the Todd Chrisley side had argued, well, because they had not given us this information, we had to file a motion to compel, and even though they eventually gave it to us, we still had to spend money on the motion to compel. And so the judge said, well, it's basically, it's kind of a moot point at this point, whether the rule on the motion to compel, if they were complied. He's like, yes, but we still want legal fees for it. Now, her team had said, well, we already told Todd Chrisley's team that we're not going to provide them the information until after the criminal case, because I guess for some stupid freaking reason, they were under the impression if that the criminal case had found Todd Chrisley guilty, that the civil case goes away. It doesn't work that way. And there was no such rule on that. There was no such agreement. And the Todd Chrisley's case going, yeah, this had nothing to do with the civil case. We didn't agree to anything. And because we had to file a motion to compel, even though they did eventually give us the answer to the interrogatory, quote, begrudgingly was the word he used. And it was basically, hey, I got nothing to give you because, she lied about having a source, I believe. Which was fine. That's good for them, right? I mean, she did not give them a name or contact information because she said she had none for her source. So clearly she lied somewhere down the line, or she's just reckless, or both. But they want attorney's fees. So the judge had not ruled on that, but that was under advisement. And Frida says, crikey, what's up with these 6 and 7 a.m. streams? If this is well worth hearing, I can sleep when I'm dead. Yeah, I'm sorry we live in different time zones, man. I mean, look, if the earth was flat, we wouldn't have to worry about it, right? Can we just all go flat, I guess? OG MSM says, providing a source doesn't prove it's true. It's like providing a name doesn't prove it's false or mouse. Well, yeah, but the problem is if she cannot show a name or contact information, that means it's reckless. Reckless is a form of malice. If she was reckless or negligent in her reporting, they would take that as being malice, because as a public figure, they have to prove malice. So that's fine for them. They'll be like, okay, you were reckless in putting this information out, which was malicious because you didn't take the time to vet your source, right? OG MS says, your legal tapes are a mess sometimes, Steve. Okay, well, where did I go wrong on that? Everybody that's reporting it that knows legal stuff is pretty much saying the exact same thing. So, I mean, I do keep my ear to the ground. So how is that off? I mean, if she has to prove, if he has to prove malice and she cannot give them the information, would that not be reckless and malicious? Well, that's what the courts will decide, right? So, but the fact is I don't think she had a source. Or at least I can say that's a fact, but I can say it is a fact that I believe that. I believe that she has no source. Yeah. It's not reckless or malice if it's true. Yeah, if it's true, but there's no indication that it's true, right? Because she cannot provide evidence that it's true. She cannot provide any evidence, any communications with some source. So, yeah, I mean, if you figure it this way, if she can provide any evidence that she even talked to her source, it would certainly help her, but it doesn't, right? I mean, clearly, if she cannot even show that she had a communication with a source, that's going to look really bad. And they're going to probably argue that it was malicious and reckless. Is that not the route they're going to go? I definitely think so. They're not saying the same thing? Okay, well, who's saying otherwise? You don't think so, Sammy? So let me ask you. Do you think that the legal team is going to try to run on the fact that she could not give them a name and a contact information of the source? Do you think they're going to go with that? Yeah, that's what I think. Guess we're going to see what happens, right? So I think they're going to run on that, and obviously, I think they will probably get legal fee for the motion to compel, even though they didn't have to rule on it. Now, the other thing that they were talking about was the harassment part of the countersuit. According to the judge, she has never seen a harassment thing like that in a civil suit, based upon the I guess what was it, general damages. So apparently, from what I understand, talking to one of the legal people that's not an actual lawyer yet, but studying to be a legal lawyer on Twitter, is that the judge took that portion out of the harassment counter suit, but the counter suit is still being ruled upon whether to be dismissed or not. Right? That's what I inferred as well, but I wasn't sure, so I asked other people, and somebody who actually studying law said that's what they inferred, that it was the harassment portion was taken out, or at least not going to be pursued by the plaintiff, or the defendant, that the harassment would not be something under a civil defamation lawsuit, but it would be put under some kind of temporary restraining order or police order. And then they said they're not pursuing any kind of temporary restraining order or police order against Todd Chrisley. So I think that has already been basically adjudicated for all practical purposes, right? Go figure. You know, I mean, here's a woman who says she's been scared of Todd Chrisley, been scared of me and all these other people, yet there's been no filing of any police report or anything like that. And every time she has a restraining order, they all get dismissed because she wants to pursue other legal action for whatever reason. I'm sorry, but if my family is in actual danger, I want the restraining order. I don't give a crap about anything else, right? I mean, if she was so scared where she has to move and she wants me to pay for her legal cost, and yet she's saying the same thing pretty much about Todd Chrisley, that Todd Chrisley is the reason why she's been swatted 4 times. Yeah, there's some incongruities there, right? There's some issues if she's using the same narrative for multiple different people. But that was also in the hearing today. So the judge is taken under advisement as far as like ruling on the countersuits, dismiss them or not. I probably think her countersuit probably will be dismissed, but they still think that their countersuit has at least sufficient amount to withstand overcoming some kind of dismissal and go forward. I don't think so, but again, I'm not a lawyer, but it sure doesn't seem that way, you know. But it would be interesting to see, because she's already basically put out to her followings that it's a done deal. Todd Chrisley caved. He's not pursuing anything. He's going to jail. Todd Chrisley has not at all caved. He's pursuing her 100%. He's full throttle. He wants to see her basically admit that she lied about him more than anything else. He wants to show the world that this whole story about him blackmailing his daughter is completely false, that she never had a source, anything of that nature. But he is definitely not showing any kind of mercy or any quarter that I can see. And so even if her motion to dismiss his case and doesn't go through, which I obviously don't think it will. He does have grounds to sue, clearly. So that needs to be adjudicated. There's no reason to dismiss his case. As far as her case, I don't think it's going to survive a motion to dismiss. I think it'll probably get knocked out. But again, who knows? But she still has to make her argument. She still has to make her case that there's a reason for defamation, which I can see none. Her argument about defamation was he set up basically a telephone line for tips and things of nature, and encouraged other people to go sue her. But even if any of that was true, who cares? That's not actionable, is what the legal team was arguing. That's something that's actionable. It's all internal stuff. It's not external. Or was it? What did they argue? It was external, not internal. The other way around. I can't remember. But who cares? Who cares they did this? He wasn't making any false statements about her. That's what defamation is, you know. So that's what I gleaned out of the hearing this morning. If you guys gleaned something different, please let me know and then put it in the live chat. I'm happy to weigh in on what you guys heard. Did anybody else attend the hearing this morning? Anybody? We'll give it some time there. Encouraging people to sue her is pretty actionable. Why? On what grounds? You can encourage anything you want. You have freedom of speech. You can. There's nothing illegal about that. That's not defamation to say, hey, I think that if you have a case against somebody, you should take action against them. That's not defamation. How's that defamation? You may as well countersue, nothing to lose. Well, the problem with that, though, is that when you put out a countersuit and you don't have any evidence for your countersuit, that's not just frivolous, it's vexatious, and it's also could bite you in the ass, because if he can show that her case is so frivolous, she's going to have to pay for all that cost as well. So I don't think that it makes sense to say she might as well sue, nothing to lose, because she does have a lot to lose. If he can show that everything in her countersuit is absolutely ridiculous and then make her pay for all the time legal cost, yeah, that's going to go very, very bad for her. Very bad. Because Katie already admitted the only reason she does countersuits is for leverage. Those were her words. That was her words. And so on the merits of the countersuit, what is she suing for? The fact that Todd Chrisley said she was a bad mom? So what? That's not actionable. The fact that Todd Chrisley wanted people to call on a telephone line to maybe get a class action going or to encourage people to sue her, that's not actionable. That's what the lawyers were saying. How is that vexatious? Now, vexatious is when you use the legal system inappropriately, but if other people have actions and other people have been harmed, what do you think a class action is? Right? A class action is a lawsuit when multiple people have been harmed for something. And she does have a business, right? I mean, she has an actual LLC, which would be a class action lawsuit against that. Like I said, Todd Chrisley's not pursuing anything like that. However, I don't know if other people are. I've heard things like, was it Letitia might be pursuing something along those lines? I don't know. I don't know much about the Dre situation. Unfortunately, I don't follow the whole the Marvin McRae situation a heck of a lot. Other people have. But, I find the whole situation to be sad. I find that there's people like Katie Joy, who's just a trauma vulture that will just latch onto any single solitary drama or tragedy and then try to profit off of it. The other people that talk about the case, I don't think they latch on these cases to get any kind of profit off it. I think they just want exposure on it, to feel for the family, to help the families. But that's not, I think, what Katie Joy does. I think that she exploits them. And that's the difference between commentary and exploitation. So, how is Lindsay on Dr. Phil not considered a credible source? Not sure. Lindsay, they have all the communications between Lindsay and Katie Joy, and nothing in there indicates anything from what Katie Joy was saying. They don't match up. So Lindsay has basically said there was never at a time that her father had blackmailed her about some sex tape. So her trying to talk about anything that happened on Dr. Phil was completely irrelevant. She was the only one that went so far to say that Chris had bought the tape, which was Chris Lindsay, bought the tape for $5,000, and then they were using it to blackmail Lindsay to basically say what they wanted her to say in the federal case. And even Lindsay said that didn't happen. So that's pretty damning, I think. So nobody else listened to the hearing this morning? I was the only one in the live chat that listened to the hearing. Somebody said, are you familiar with Todd's tweet that started all this? I'm pretty familiar with most of the tweets. Chemo says, let's see here. Temporary maintenance and betrayal are technically ways to stop frivolous and vexatious lawsuits, but they're not used in any practical sense. Barratry, sorry. Not used in any practical sense. But here's the thing, they know that she's done this to multiple people, so that's pretty telling. So. But I think, like I said, I think the most damning thing is that if she cannot show she has a source, that's pretty bad, because how is she going to get around saying, oh yeah, I said all these defamatory things about Todd and I have no backup for it. I have no evidence for it, anything of the sort of what I said. That's defamation. How can you say something so defamatory about him trying to blackmail his daughter and not have evidence for it? Where's the evidence for that? Does anybody have any evidence that he tried to blackmail his daughter? Because I've never seen it. I've never seen anything of the sort. And Lindsay Chrisley herself said no such evidence exists, basically. She said it never happened. So, yeah, that's my take on it. That's my hot take. I definitely think that Katie is really screwed 6 ways to Sunday on this. I also think she's going to be screwed in the 6M's case. Now, I heard there's a rumor that 7M, or somebody's not 6M, 7M are going to, I think they're, there's a rumor that they're somehow settling. I haven't heard anything like that, nothing. And when I asked people, have you seen any evidence on that? There was nothing. The pretrial hearing is already scheduled. So I don't know what the heck they're talking about. So I guess we're just going to wait and see on that. Hi, Zebulon181. How you been, man? He says, I don't care about Todd or Katie. I'm only here because I'm a Steve fan. I appreciate that. Look, look, anybody who's a Katie fan, I think that they have to have their brains examined. They need an MRI, because I just can't imagine anybody being a fan of Katie. I mean, at that point, you are a sociopath that just encourages people to harm people, and you're a troll. And I don't know why anybody would ever want to listen to anybody that ever supports Katie. I just can't. I can't deal with that. My thing is straight up. If somebody supports Katie, they don't need to come around my channel. I want nothing to do with them. Belinda said, Lindsay said on Dr. Phil and her father was blackmailing her all before Katie said it, and plenty of media reported on it. I don't think that's exactly what was said on Dr. Phil, but she sure later on definitely said that there's no such thing. And she actually said Katie got it wrong. Those are her words. So where is the actual evidence of this, though? Does anybody have any evidence that Todd did blackmail his daughter? Is there any evidence of this? Because she's saying that Lindsay has said that he didn't. Yeah, no, not according to what they are saying. She says she doesn't have a source. Or I should say, she said she doesn't have a name for the source nor contact information. If Lindsay was the source, then she lied to the attorneys. Is that what you're saying? Belinda, are you saying that she lied to the attorneys? Because she told the attorneys she did not have a name for the source and no contact information on the source. Now you're saying Lindsay was the source. So where is Katie lying here, other than if she had a source and it was Lindsay, she lied to the attorneys. If she didn't have a source, she lied to the attorneys by saying she doesn't have a name for the source. So I'm kind of confused here. Belinda, if Lindsay was the source, why did she tell the lawyers she had no name for the source? Yes, I mean, I don't really care, to be honest with you. To be honest, I just don't. Go find it. I'm just not interested. Judy said, I don't support Katie. I just think this is Todd looking for vengeance and trying to hit her in the wallet. I think it is in part some vengeance in some way. I mean, he feels like she went after his family, and he's very protective of his family. So if it's vengeance, I don't give a shit. But at the same token, he has every right to sue if she claims something that she has no evidence for. Right? And again, I'm still waiting for that evidence that there was this going on. Belinda says, no, Steve. Lindsay said it did happen. Then we track the statement, but how's that Katie's problem? Well, that's irrelevant. Again, Belinda, you're not answering my question. She had told the lawyers she does not have a name for the source that she spoke with that agrees with her from the production team, and no contact information. If Lindsay was her source, she would have the name and the contact information. Do you not see the problem here, Belinda? I mean, this is simple reasoning here. Yeah, Sammy, I'm not interested in dealing with you right now. Bye-bye. So, Belinda, I'm talking to you here because I'm tired of these idiotic trolls. Do you understand, Belinda, that if Lindsay was her source and she told the attorneys she did not have a name for the source and contact information, she lied to the attorneys? Do you agree? I'm again, follow the logical conclusion here. Maybe Lindsay told someone I have no idea. Again, it doesn't matter. Lindsay has said this never happened. Yamaki said, if a false accuser is proven to be false, the corollary reflexive result ought to find the accuser guilty of least harassment. To some degree, well, you know what's so funny? In other countries like the UK, aren't they set up that if you do bring a lawsuit and you lose, you pay for both sides, right? And I do think that false accusers should have more ramification. I think that if you do falsely accuse somebody, not only should you be found liable for cost, you should be held criminally liable. And by the way, I did get an email from the detective in the Kyle case. They are still reviewing evidence. A month later, they're still reviewing evidence to see if they can still go ahead, or if they can go ahead with perjury and embezzlement charges. So they haven't dropped it yet. I mean, they're still looking into it. A month later, they're still reviewing evidence to see how they can go about doing this. Doesn't mean they're going to, but the fact that a month later they haven't come to the conclusion whether they can press charges for perjury or embezzlement yet is pretty impressive. I'll take what I can get. So if they do eventually find, hey, look, there probably might be enough evidence here to bring conviction. We're not going to pursue it. Okay, what are you going to do? But they're still evaluating it, right? Belinda says, yeah, that's exactly what was said on Dr. Phil. I'm saying that Lindsay said it in public, not Katie whisper Steve. I'm telling you what Lindsay said on Dr. Phil. Okay, but you're not listening to me, Belinda. Do you agree that Katie then lied? Let's assume Lindsay is her source. Do you then agree it would follow, by logical reasoning, if Lindsay was her source, which, by the way, they have turned over all those communications, and according to the legal team, that is not in there. There's no communications to Lindsay or from Lindsay or to Lindsay about any of this because they already have all this. Do you agree, though, if Lindsay is a source and she tells the attorneys she doesn't know the name of the source nor have any contact information for that source, she lied to the attorneys? Do you agree with that, Belinda? Again, I like to do simple reasoning. This is what I do. Just basic, simple, critical thinking. It's not difficult. Does anybody else follow that? Does anybody not follow this? If you don't think that's logical reasoning, I'd like to know where the logic fails. Premise 1, the source is Lindsay. Premise 2, Katie Joy told the attorneys she doesn't know the name of the source or have contact information from the source. Premise 3, Katie Joy knows Lindsay is a source. Conclusion, Katie lied to the lawyers. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. OOG MSN says, I think Belinda is saying the point of the statement was put out there so Katie wouldn't have been defamed by repeating it. That's up to them to adjudicate that. That's her claim that she did it. She said from other media. She did not say she got it from Lindsay. She says she got it from, quote, other media sources is what I've heard. Other media sources. She didn't specifically name Lindsay. So that's not on the record there or in evidence or any reason to think otherwise. But again, would you agree, Belinda, if in fact Lindsay is her source and she tells the lawyers she doesn't have a name for the source, she lied to the attorneys? That's all I want to know. Is that simple? Yes or no? She lied to the attorneys? I'm not looking for any evidence. I'm just doing commentary on what happened on the hearing today. That's it. Just on the hearing today. I'm looking for evidence there was actually a tape that was used to blackmail. That was not given on the Dr. Phil show. The Dr. Phil never produced any tape. Right, but the point, OSG says, right, but the point is that it was something out in public, not specific Katie defaming her with the slander. Again, they're going to adjudicate on that. I don't think that's exactly what it said, but that's not my point. My point is, again, going back to what my argument is, if Lindsay is the source and she tells the lawyers she doesn't know the name of the source, she lied to the attorneys. Simple as that. Can I get a yes or no on that? Edwards says, my logic is that Katie stares with dead eyes due to some severe psychopathy and most likely is histrionic. I absolutely agree. But I think the psychopathy is a form of sociopathy. I do think she's a sociopath. She's not a psychopath. But my personal opinion is that, yes, she's a sociopath and she has histrionic personality disorder. But again, I'm not a professional. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a lay person throwing these things out there, which is perfectly fine to do because it's mere opinion. WTF, why you argue about people trying to direct you where it is and you're refusing to check it out? Weird. No, there isn't. I'm sorry, but there was no evidence on that show of a tape. Are you saying there was a tape on that show? Because I didn't see any evidence of a tape. But again, I will ask the question, and then I'm going to start like deleting people from the live chat because I'm not going to be sea-lined all night. I will ask a very simple question, and I like very simple answers. Do you agree if Lindsay is the source and she tells the lawyer that she doesn't know the name of the source, she lied to the attorney? Simple as that. If you answer that, and we'll go from there. Belinda says, yes, I follow what you're saying. What I'm saying is that Lindsay was a source for the entire world. I'm not saying Lindsay said it to Katie in DMs. Well, that's irrelevant. She told the lawyer she doesn't have a source, or she doesn't know the name of the source. So, yeah, Katie Joy's lying somewhere down the line, right? So that's the whole takeaway, right, Belinda? Katie is lying somewhere down the line, right? She either did not have a source and she made it up, or her source is somehow Lindsay and she lied to the attorney saying that she didn't know the name of the source and didn't have any contact information. Either way, I think we all agree Katie lied, correct? I mean, Katie never said that Lindsay was her source as far as I know. Katie said that her source was other media sources. Yeah, like I said, there's been no evidence of any actual sex tape. That was my point. Yeah, well, like I said, if Lindsay claimed that she blackmailed, okay, they can adjudicate that, okay? Let them adjudicate that Lindsay claimed he blackmailed her, but when she came out and said that she changed her mind, when she found out that was not the case, right? If Lindsay claimed that he blackmailed her on the Dr. Phil, because I do remember something along those lines, so that's fine. But she also came out and said that she changed her mind on this, and that she found out he wasn't doing this, and she went to Katie and told her this, and Katie still ran with it, right? So at that point, if Katie, knowing that Lindsay had said, hey, look, this is not what happened, and she continued to run with it, that would be a problem, would it not be? That's what I think what the timeline would be as far as the chronological timelines. Katie did not say Lindsay was her source. Katie said that, again, she didn't know the name of the source. So, yeah, Katie lied. If she reported on it and then Lindsay changed and said, no, that's not the case, and she continued to put out information knowing it to be wrong and corrected, that's defamation. That's just my take on it. Again, we'll see, right? We can be completely wrong. Who knows? That's my take on it. This is what my recollection of the chronology is. But my whole thing is that, look, either way, somewhere along the lines, Katie had to lie. Because if she's going by strictly what Lindsay said, then why did she not tell the attorneys her source was Lindsay? Why did she say she didn't have a name? Answer that. Anyone? WTF, once again, let me ask you. If her source was Lindsay, why did she not tell the attorneys that her source was Lindsay? Why did she tell the attorneys she did not have a name nor contact information for her source? Can you give me that answer, please? I'm quite interested in that particular answer there, so I'll wait for you. Yeah, we already know Katie's a liar. Yeah, we know this. I get that, right? Well, let them adjudicate whether there's defamation. I'm not, again, that's up to them. I'm not a judge. I do think that she committed defamation, right? Clearly. To me, I think she committed defamation. But be that as may, we know that she lied somewhere down the line, right? WTF, you do agree that, obviously. So Katie Joy's a liar. Yeah. And I think that because she's not being truthful somewhere along the lines, that's going to bite her, right? She said she doesn't have a name for the source, right? And that's very telling. Plus, they already have all the communications between her and Lindsay. So if they have all the communications between her and Lindsay, would they not know whether Lindsay was the source or not? Right? They would know exactly what she had told Katie. So Katie said her source was other media sources. From what I understand, yes. Because Katie is a pathological liar. Yeah, well, we know this, right? Everyone knows Katie Joy lies at times. No, Katie Joy lies like literally almost everything she says. Does it mean everything she says is a lie? No. But even a broken clock can be right twice, in a day. But we know that Katie Joy continues to lie prolifically. I mean, she's a pathological liar. And in this particular case, there has to be somewhere she lied. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They just have to determine where that lie is, and if they can prove in a court of law where that lie is, that can reach the status of maliciousness and prove malice. And I think that Todd Chrisley is going to win on that. Because if she didn't have a source that is considered to be obviously malicious, correct? She did have a source and doesn't have a name or anything like that, that's gonna be reckless. And that could be construed as malicious to them. You're missing the point, though. You're missing the point, I think. But that's fine. You're allowed to miss the point. I don't care what shit about that. But at least, I think everybody recognizes that Katie Jory's lied somewhere down the line on this, right? If she lied somewhere down the line, I think that the point of Todd Chrisley's team is basically find where she lied somewhere down the line. And I think it's going to be that they're going to push that Katie Joy said she had a source that worked for the production team. I think at one time they said producer. I don't know. I don't remember specifically her saying producer. I think she said production team, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, maybe somebody can refresh my memory on that. But the point being is that she did not give up the name Lindsay when asked for the interrogatory number 3, because that's what the motion to compel was, right? The motion to compel was on interrogatory number 3, which was the person she talked to that had verified all this stuff. They said, "Oh, I believe you," right? So if she responded to the interrogatory number 3 and she didn't give Lindsay's name, and Lindsay was the person, she didn't then properly respond to the interrogatory, and she could be held accountable for that, correct? I mean, right? WTF says he's not going to win. Clearly, the guy isn't well versed in the legal system. Serving as a face of a third prison. That's a different legal team. He has one of the best law firms in the nation. I mean, this is a law firm that's on Wikipedia. They have 200 lawyers. So I think he has an excellent case, personally. I really do. But I guess we're going to see on that. You know, but the fact we all agree, I think everybody here agrees that Katie lies. That's going to bite her. I think it really is going to bite her. Because they're gonna have to figure out where exactly she's lied, and if she's lied about Todd Chrisley anywhere down the line or something related to him, that's what they're gonna exploit to show malice, and he's gonna win his defamation lawsuit, right? So let me change the question. Do you guys think that Katie has a defamation suit? Any grounds for her defamation lawsuit? Right? Well, Katie doesn't have to show that they're the media sources, right? But I don't think she even produced any other media sources, right? But we'll see. I mean, like I said, we'll see. But she said specifically that her source worked at the production company. They were insiders. She had said, not just a media source, she had said that she talked to somebody that was affiliated with the Chrisley show. Chrisley Knows Best. That was her words, right? No lawyers agreeing that he was going to win, not even EDB. Oh, well, we'll see. You know, I disagree with her then. I don't know. I haven't listened to EDB on this, so. Hey, look, I had a dishonest lawyer that has 6-digit subs say that I wasn't going to win my case against Kyle, right? That I had no case. That wasn't a business. That Kyle was going to be overturned on improper service. They got it wrong. Go figure. You know. I did win. So, yeah. Belinda says, I can't stand Katie, but this case is ridiculous. Well, I guess we're going to find out. But I think Todd has a good case. I really do. I think 7M's is better. You know, I think 7M's case is way better because 7M can show multiple different times of her saying things that no other source was saying. Right? So. All right. So, anyways, did anybody, like I said, did anybody go to the hearing this morning? Anybody? I was the only one in the live chat. Interesting. Well, that's my take on it. We'll see how good it ages, right? We'll look back, and if Todd Chrisley, doesn't win, that's fine. We'll see what happens. But I think that's the legal strat. I think that is where they're going to try to win the case on. Is that she just didn't have any grounds or any source to actually make the claims that she did. Let me ask you guys: do you think her motion? I mean, do you think his motion on the dismissal of her claims is going to go through? Yeah, I've heard those rumors. I can't imagine Netflix though not vetting her, but whatever. Yeah, But do you think that she has a? Do you think she has a defamation case? Because she said the same things about him as she said about numerous other content creators, and then she's trying to get general damages of emotional distress. Come on, her case is absolutely ridiculous, not his. Well, I agree. Her claims are strategy leverage, but even in a strategy and leverage, you can't just frivolously throw out stuff in a legal complaint. You can't just say, "Hey, Mike, I'm gonna countersue you because you killed my parents," kind of stuff, and that never happened. You have to produce some actionable legal reason to sue somebody, or else it will bite you in the ass because they're gonna say, "Hey, everything in this countersuit is just absolutely bogus," and get all the legal fees. So why would you countersue somebody just for leverage if everything you put in that stupid thing is wrong? That makes no sense. Who does that? I think that's stupid. I mean, if you're going to counter somebody, wouldn't you countersue somebody with stuff they can at least have a chance of winning, not make stuff up? Yeah, it's been made public. It's somewhere. Yeah, I don't think Todd's case is ridiculous at all, but I guess we're going to see, right? But you're entitled to your opinion on that. Doesn't she have to move house because Todd's death threats or something? She claims because Todd talked about her on her podcast that she continues to get death threats and that she has been swatted 4 times. Yeah. Do you believe that, WTF, that she's been swatted 4 times because of Todd Chrisley's podcast? Come on. That's just insanity. Absolute insanity. We're talking about Katie Joy. No, logic need not apply. No, I agree with you on that, GGB. I do. I mean, obviously, we all. I think again, every one of us agree that she's just a horrible, horrible human being that is litigious and makes shit up. I mean, so we would just have to sit back and see how the legal system determines it. But the fact when she says that because Todd Chrisley's podcast, she was swatted 4 times. Come on, we all know who called CPS and all those other things. We all know who the psychopath was behind that, and it had nothing to do with Todd Chrisley. Nothing to do with Todd Chrisley. What did the fake emails and the fake things reporting Katie Joy to CPS have to do with Todd Chrisley? Anything? Nope. That was way before Todd Chrisley even came in the scene. But she's trying to attribute those things to Todd because that's what she does. That's a dangerous game she's playing because they know damn well that she's full of crap on that. They know that. They absolutely know that all those things have no relevance to Todd Chrisley. Juice says Todd did that for revenge. He just wants to drain her bank account, and he knows Katie Joy will take the bait. She always does, and it's possible. I don't even know if that's the strat at this point. She has nothing even to drain, I don't think. She's not in good financial straits from what I understand. But again, that is something I can't confirm, but that's what I've heard. But when she's in 2 major litigations and 7M is seemingly going through the throat, it's probably going to be very costly. Plus, she has actually said she has finalized paying off her other attorney from the Toddy Westbrook case. So, yeah. So that's my take on it. If anybody else had actually listened to the hearing this morning, if they have something else they want to add, by all means, let me know. What do you guys think? Do you think that the hearing went in Katie Joy's favor or in Todd Chrisley's favor, or about even? Just take a vote. One Todd favor, 2 Katie Joy's favor, 3 no change, which would be no favor. Okay, so let's try that. I'm gonna put it to an actual vote here. So I just wanted to put that in the live chat. 1 second. Let's get an actual vote here. So we'll go for Todd. You can do it either way, in the live chat or actually vote. Katie Joy, no change. There we go. What do you guys say? I'm curious. There's the vote. Woohoo! No change. No change. Okay, I got 2 no changes. Got 1 for Todd. Well, first of all, he by the way, his sentencing is until September, and he is trying to obviously appeal the conviction. So And I kind of get Todd. I really do. I do understand why he's doing this. He really, really feels like his family was dragged through the mud by this woman, and he is the kind of person that would be very, very, very protective of his family. And I totally, totally understand that mindset. This is not just, something on a whim by him. He really, really believes, I think, that Katie Joy had gone after his family, his daughter, his wife, his, everybody. And I think he's very, very protective of his family. That's just basically, I believe. It's in October. I thought it was September, but you might be right. I thought it was September, but we can go with October. Well, of course it doesn't make it true, but I mean, I can still empathize with it. I still understand the reasoning behind it. I think he has every right to protect his family. So we'll see what happens. I mean, this is going to be an interesting thing. I really do think that during the trial, I think that she's not going to be able to produce a shred of evidence for her case. I think that he's going to argue that she committed defamation merely for the fact that she cannot substantiate some of the things she claimed about him. I don't know. I don't know why they don't go up to talk to Phil TMZ. I have no idea. But like I said, they're going to argue that she had basically went beyond what was said on the Dr. Phil and TMZ, and that Lindsay herself told her that it wasn't true. So again, we'll see what happens on that. I don't know. You have to ask. Yeah, I guess you have to ask his legal team. I really have no idea, dude. Maybe somebody else can answer that question. I have no idea what the hell TMZ or Dr. Phil, exactly said comparatively to the amount of information she's putting out that doesn't seem to match what they say. I mean, again, I don't recollect either of them saying that Chris bought a tape for $5,000, but maybe they did. I don't remember. And they, Dr. Phil, on that episode, they say that they had a tape that they paid $5,000 for. So, yeah, again, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I don't follow TMZ. So I guess we're going to find out, right? But that doesn't seem to be. Yeah, I mean, I'll go check it out. I mean, like I said, I'll find that. I watched part of it, but it's just so boring to me. But I will look at the Dr. Phil episode and compare it to what she's actually said. But the fact remains still, WTF, is that she says she has a source with the production company. That's what I think he's going after. She said her source was with the production company that verified these things and said that they believed her. That was beyond what was on Dr. Phil or TMZ, was it not? Would you agree with that? If she said that she had a source from the production company that she did not have, that's defamation. Because now she's saying she's going beyond just what she's re-reporting, which she didn't vet the story. She's reporting as facts. But what does the source matter if the actual information is true? Well, is it true? Is there evidence it's true? I don't see any evidence it's true. They have not established if there's any evidence it's true. I have not seen any facts and evidence there's been any kind of sex tape that was purchased for $5,000 and that was used to extort Lindsay. Do you have evidence of money's changing hands? Do they? Do you have evidence that money was exchanged hands, that a sex tape was purchased for $5,000? Because I have not seen that. If you do have that, I will look at that. I'll be happy to look at that. No. Well, I don't care whether you like Todd or not. If you think Todd's a fraud, I mean, that's irrelevant. I don't give a shit. Who gives a shit? Anybody can have your opinion on who you like and who you don't like, or But the fact remains is I don't think it's unreasonable to step into Todd Chrisley's shoes and want to protect your family if you think your family was slighted by somebody. I mean, unless you're a sociopath. But W2F, you missed the point. Katie has said it wasn't Lindsay. Katie has told the lawyers she has no name for her source, nor any contact information. So is she lying to the attorneys when she just should have said it was Lindsay? Is that your argument? I mean, I think that's what you're arguing here. I think you're arguing, hey, Lindsay is a source, but if in fact she told the lawyers that she has no name for a source and no contact information for a source. Then she lied to the attorneys. Right? Is that? I think you guys would agree with that. Let me look at the vote, by the way. We have so far 38% for Todd, 8% for Katie Joy, and 54% of no change, with 13 votes in. Well, again, WTF, you're missing the point. If her source is the Dr. Phil episode, why did she say she had a source that was with the production company? Is Dr. Phil affiliated with Chrisley Knows Best? Let's look at the facts in evidence. The facts and evidence so far is she said her source was with the show Chrisley Knows Best. Correct? So if it was Lindsay, she would have said to them, my source was Lindsay, who's affiliated with the show Chrisley Knows Best. But that's not what she told the attorneys. She told the attorneys she has no name nor contact information for the source. Correct? So did Katie Joy lie to the attorneys? Well, I'm not asking you if you as to what she said, why. I'm asking you if that's the case, WTF. When I'm asking you if that is the case, that Lindsay was her source, and she tells the attorneys she doesn't know the name or the contact information of the source, then in fact she did lie to the attorneys, correct? I mean, come on. This is not like super complicated, simple reasoning here. The answer is yes. The answer is yes, she lied to the attorneys if that's the case. You don't need to drag it out, people. Lying about yourself isn't even a tort, and more, let alone a crime. Lying about somebody else is different. That's true. Well, not necessarily. If you lie, if I lie and say I'm a police officer, that's a crime, right? So it depends on what you say about yourself, right? GGB said, yes, you lied to everyone. And I agree with you. I think that's the takeaway, right? Somewhere down the line, we all agree. Everybody in this live chat seems to agree that Katie Joy lied somewhere down the line. And I think the goal here is to basically find out where, right? I think that's the reasonable takeaway, don't you? And I want to keep this down to an hour, so I'm going to end this in 3 minutes here. I just want to do a really quick summary of what I thought of the hearing today. Was it very productive? Not really. Was it a letdown? Yeah, a little bit. Do I think Katie has a reason to be worried? Yes, I really do. I honestly do. I think that the fact that she cannot produce what they're asking because she knows she doesn't have a source is really going to bite her. And I do think that she did tell her audience that it was going to be dismissed and a bunch of other things. It wasn't. I don't know how much longer they have to take under advisement the motion to dismiss. It can't be much longer. I mean, it has to be by the end of the month, I would imagine, right? Does anybody know what day it is that the judge has to? Because it has to be within 90 days, I think, in the state of Minnesota. So anybody know? WTF, do you happen to know how many more days the judge has to rule on the motion to dismiss the countersuit? I'm pretty sure it has to be by the end of this month. But I don't have an exact date. Somebody said it was by the end of the business day today, but I don't think that's correct, but she did because she didn't. But it has to be probably the next couple days, I would imagine. And again, do you think that her motion will survive a motion to dismiss? I don't think it will. I think it's going to be kicked out. But if it isn't, that's fine as well. It's not. I don't have a strong conviction of that. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know. I don't. Does the existence of tape matter for defamation? It could, yes. Yeah, it could make a big difference. If there is a tape, then it's sure going to help Katie, right? But if Katie lied about having a source, that's a big deal. And she already said that Lindsay, she already said that she can't name the source. So if it was Lindsay, then yeah, then she lied. So somewhere along the lines, she lied. You can't get out of that. That's simple reasoning. So, everybody at least agree with that, so I can end this on a happy note. That yes, somewhere down the line, Katie lied. If so, then put hashtag Katie lied somewhere. There you go. Just type that. If somewhere, it doesn't matter where, we'll figure it out. Again, we got a long ways to go in this case. I just want to get my really hip, from the hip freaking view of what I heard from the hearing this morning and from what I've been talking to people. And I think that I give a reasonable, summation. All her sources are lies. She calls a YouTube video a source. Yeah. Well, no, I get that as well, right? I mean, she calls basically gossip a source. She calls Reddit a source. She calls the Ashley a source. She calls other YouTubers a source. Yeah, I get that, right? I really do. And when she's being asked, hey, well, you said it was somebody from the production team. Who did you talk to from the production team? And she says, well, I don't have anybody's name for that. Yeah, she's gonna be screwed on that particular aspect, I think. So, all right, guys, I'm wrapping it up. I'm going to go pass out because it's been a long freaking day. So let me figure out what's coming up. On Friday, I've got a lawyer coming in, an honest lawyer, unlike some other dishonest lawyers on the internet. I have a really cool honest lawyer. He's awesome. He's been on before. And he's going to come on. He's going to kind of give a brief overview of sovereign citizens and what they believe. I also might have a very special guest coming up on this channel and maybe on the Non Sequitur show. We'll see how it goes. But I've got a blast from the past coming up that I will just say was involved in probably one of the funniest, if not the funniest, episodes I've ever had in my entire life. That still to this day, I swear to God, I get people messaging me saying, I watched this video 4 years ago, I watched it today, and it's still funny as hell. Still funny as ever. So maybe we'll see what happens on that. And we also, next week, I have opened the Without a Crystal Balls Victims Hotline on the Great Debate Community channel. If you have not subscribed to the Great Debate Community channel, it is in the video description, or just search Great Debate Community channel, WOACB Victims Hotline, you'll find it. You need to subscribe to that channel if you want to talk in the live chat, or I don't think you need to subscribe if you want to call in. I don't care. But if you want live chat, that's done through the system. But we already have callers lined up for Monday. I did a trust run to see kind of how it worked the other day, and I had some bugs, but I'm working them out. But I've already got people that want to call in for Monday. And what that's going to be about is basically people telling how they met Katie and how they feel that Katie victimized them. How cool is that? Oh, Zebulon! Yes. I might, not specifically GCAT. Well, maybe GCAT. Maybe GCAT. But yeah. Imagine, Zebulon, if I can get GCAT on, would you watch? Like, seriously. If I can get GCAT back on to just basically stare into the camera and just want like our help, would you watch that? I seriously, I don't know how you couldn't, to be honest with you. GCAT was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. I cannot stop laughing about GCAT. I still watch that video every so often, just when I'm feeling, like blah. I'll watch cat videos and I'll watch some other videos, and one of the videos I will occasionally watch just to say, God damn, that was funny, and start laughing, is GCAT. Hells yeah, he says, great. If you have not watched GCAT, go find Pine Trees and Elephants on the Great Debate Community channel. I also put a clip version on my channel, and go find the timestamp. It's in the video description. Go find the timestamp and watch from the timestamp. Yeah, God dang it! Watch from the timestamp. The portion where GCAT comes in from Pine Trees and Elephants, and I swear to God, if you do not laugh, you have no soul. You are a dysfunctional, sociopathic. You literally just have no soul if you can't laugh at GCAT, because GCAT seriously was freaking hilarious. All right, guys, thanks for watching this. I'm gonna bug around, and I will see you Friday on the Non Sequitur show. No monsters. They were. Hey, fun fact. They weren't monsters. I had two rock stars. Oh, don't look at me like that. Okay.